Worst experience ever when a buyer goes through and the listing agent or the seller are there. Worst experience ever.
This episode is brought to you by Shrubs.me. I heard Steve Suretsky saying that in Vancouver, they don't use, maybe it's not Vancouver, somewhere in the British Columbia area that Steve Suretsky works, they don't use lock boxes. So the listing agent has to actually show up for all of the showings. And I find that brilliant, to be quite honest with you. I think that, well, I mean, if anybody should know the house better than anybody, it's at least the agent with the listing. You would assume that this would be the case, that they've learned all the nuance of the house and they know the place upside down and backwards. Because, I mean, they are getting a giant fucking commission for selling this thing, right?
Yeah.
So you assume that they know things, at least more than the person who just got the lockbox code and is seeing the place for the first time. Right?
Worst experience ever when a buyer goes through and the listing agent or the seller are there. Worst experience ever. I just did it this week with a client on a $3 million house.
Worst experience ever. Tell me why.
Worst experience ever.
Why?
Because
first
of all, it's a sales pitch.
Sales pitch.
First of all, it's a sales pitch. Whether they, well, I don't want to, I'm not going to step on your toes. I'm not going to sell you. Okay, I'll just sell you away. Oh, don't forget to check upstairs. They got the retractable central vac in the wall. You got to see it, So it's a whole sales pitch no matter what. But then now I'm with my buyers. We're in a $3 million house. We hate parts of this house. There are parts of this house that we want to change. We want to critique. We want to be able to, figure out like what we would do differently on how we're going to be, maybe look for another home, or maybe say to ourselves, this is like, something that we could fix to make it better. But because that person's there, we're just like, oh yeah, it's nice. Oh, good. I like that. Meanwhile, I want to tell them that this island that this person built, which is this massive U-shaped island with a dining room table in the middle, that in order to be able to get to the inner seats, you got to do the butt shuffle. Those huge booths where you got to start in and you got to shuffle your butt. You got to shuffle your butt all the way down and around. But this is like in your kitchen now in order to be able to sit people at your kitchen dining room table. And I'm like, the poor lady who's the listing agent. No, she's not the listing agent. She's the owner, but she's also an agent. And I'm just kind of like cross-eyed looking at this going like, I need to tell my clients that this whole monstrosity can just come out and do a whole new island. Yeah. And that it's going to be, $25,000 to get a suite island that is like, because it's a massive kitchen, right? So it's like that's what you would pay, and then you'd have this amazing dining space over here. But I couldn't do that.
You couldn't do that because you didn't want to hurt her.
I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
Why? Yeah. That's such a great negotiating move.
Bottom line is that's the feelings I had. Other people had the same thing too. So if your agent's at the showings because you think that's helping you, it's hurting you.
I feel like that's a manipulative buyer agent perspective. TK.
And as soon as I see that the agent's there, immediately I think one of two things. Okay, they're desperate to sell or they're overpriced, and that they need somebody to explain why that tile has been laid by a guy who knows what he's doing, and I'm not going to have any issues for 25 years.
Yeah, we hired Pierre from France to lay the 4 tiles in the foyer.
That's how it is. Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
Okay. So from your perspective, what you're trying to say is that the agent being there trying to sell the house for their commission, which I think is doing their job, is an annoyance for the buyers because you can't thrash the place freely.
That's part of it. Yeah, you gotta sell. Crazy. The buyer agent's gotta sell. We need to be able to go through all the different things that
you shouldn't even be involved. Buyer agent is bullshit.
I know my buyers though. I'm out with them and I know what their needs are. You don't. You start talking about all the things that you think are about the house that's important to them. Yeah. I actually know what the buyer's needs are, and I can start.
So you can make sure that they ignore the stuff that they don't really need, and that you hyper focus on the stuff you know that they will love.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it makes sense.